Please rise. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to our study session meeting. Today is Monday, October the 21st. Guess we'll do roll call, then I'll let you know that we had executive session. Well, let me do that first. We had executive session earlier before the meeting, and discussion was negotiation and personnel. So now we'll go ahead and have roll call.
Mrs. Boyce?
Here.
Mr. Bova?
Here.
Mrs. Burns?
Here.
Mrs. Delaney?
Here.
Mrs. McBride?
Here.
Ms. Lingo?
Here.
Mr. Ritter?
Here.
Dr. Singh?
Here.
Mrs. Warren? Here.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started since we got started a little late. Sorry about that. We're going to have a presentation from Shay O'Sullivan from EF Tours.
Evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thank you for coming.
Sure, happy to. So my name is Shay O'Sullivan. I work with EF Educational Tours. We are a tour operator. We have been running tours for nearly 60 years. We handle all of the arrangements. We believe that if we can work with teachers and help support them in recruiting students who are interested in traveling abroad, we can handle all of the work behind the scenes. So we are an all-inclusive company. We handle transportation, airfare, everything on the ground, meals, hotels, activities. We have a tour director that accompanies groups for the duration of their trip. We also handle all of the safety, the emergency support. We have an in-house emergency service and support team. And we also provide liability insurance to cover the teacher leading the trip, the school, and the district. Specifically in this case, I know that Dr. Lynn Martin is interested in leading a trip with some students to Costa Rica this coming June, with the hope of then expanding a program to continue recruiting for future trips, potentially to Greece next year, and then building a program from there. So I know there have been some discussions, at least Dr. Rossi, I think, with you, and there were some outstanding questions, so I'm happy to answer any questions.
Two that you could start with is, I know we talked a little bit about school-sponsored versus non-school sponsored, and then liability.
Sure. So school-sponsored versus non-school sponsored would be entirely up to you all to decide. From our perspective, everything is completely the same. Most notably, we provide liability coverage exactly the same whether a teacher says it's school-sponsored or not. So even if you were to say, we're okay with Dr. Martin proceeding with this trip, but we don't want it to be school-sponsored, we would still provide liability coverage in the event that anything were to happen. In terms of how it would actually work to be non-school sponsored, the main difference is that Dr. Martin is hoping to be able to use potentially somewhere in school property to have recruitment meetings and also have access to parent and student contact information, to be able to send out communications about recruiting and so forth. But if that's not a possibility, we are happy to still support her through the process and figure out other ways. She can host meetings virtually, she can host them off campus. For some schools who sort of are okay walking the line between school-sponsored and non-sponsored, we have a sample of a waiver that I'm happy to provide after via email that would have all parents sign acknowledging that the trip, though recruited for from Gateway, is not officially affiliated with the district. So that's a route some take. I would say in Pennsylvania, probably about 60% of trips are sponsored trips.
So I have a question. So I can better understand this. A teacher came to your organization and asked for assistance because you guys are all-inclusive, you handle everything, and it made it an easier way for them to be able to look into having a trip for the students. Is that correct?
Correct. So we work directly with teachers around the country who would say, I'm interested in planning a trip. We have a whole portfolio of tours. So in this case, Dr. Martin has looked at a trip called Costa Rica Natural Wonders. And she looked through it and she would see the itinerary that we would put together. She would be handling the recruitment, dealing directly with the parents and handling that communication. And then we handle all of the logistics.
Okay. Because that, for me, that makes a difference, knowing that there was a teacher that did some research, came to you, because I'm sure you're not the only company that does this.
No, there's
But,
others, sure.
yeah, they came to you and requested some assistance, some guidance with a trip that they would like for the students to be involved in. Okay.
You want to talk about some of the other local schools as well, because I think that's where she heard it.
Sure. I know of some nearby schools, Franklin Regional, Alderdice, East Allegheny, Woodland Hills, and Penn Trafford all have current programs that have been ongoing, at least for a number of years. Some of them, I don't know off the top of my head, have traveled to Costa Rica, some of them to other international destinations.
And the teacher would be attending that.
The teacher always attends. Yes, that's a great question. So the teacher attends and also chaperones. So EF provides one covered chaperone space for every 6 paying students. So we feel it's important to make sure that the teacher leading the trip has adequate chaperones there to help handle the behavior, to help head counts, to help, really manage everything and have enough adults present in case there would be an emergency. We would support logistically, but if there needed to be an adult with a student.
And as far as your insurance coverage, I'm sure you would have everything. Would you also have molestation insurance coverage?
We do, yes.
Okay.
Our general liability coverage is $50 million per covered incident. It would cover the teacher leading the trip and then extend all the way up through the school and school district. The molestation policy falls within that. We also offer a global travel protection plan that is an individual insurance coverage that students, families can elect to purchase. So that's going to have the medical and accident coverage that would have trip interruption, cancellation, all on an individual basis to cover any gaps in an individual's US-based policy.
Students that don't have, I'm sorry, I have a lot of questions. Students that don't have passports, is there assistance or guidance to help them obtain those passports?
We have a traveler support team that's available for any questions that parents might have. So that would include walking them through what steps to take, where do you need to go, and how do you need to do that. The family would need to actually go and apply for the passport on their own, but we can let them know everything they'll need to do, yes.
The chaperones, you said per 6 students. So if the teacher went and there were only 6 students, they would also take a chaperone?
Once 6 students are signed up, then that covers the teacher's place, and then for every 6 thereafter, an additional chaperone can come. So for 6 students, you would get a second person to go.
So, but if there were only 6 students, you would only be sending one individual adult with 6 students?
Recruiter, yes. They could choose to bring another person, a paying adult. In some cases, they choose to have that cost shared among students. In some cases, districts contribute to it. In some cases, just the adult would pay to do it.
Okay, and then if those chaperones, do you do some kind of approval clearance process to make sure that they are appropriate people to chaperone students?
We do. So the group leader is the one who would designate and say to us, this adult that I'm signing up is going to be the chaperone. And then we have a requirement that anyone 20 or older joining a trip goes through a background check process. So we consolidate groups of travelers. So you might have, if there were 12 people traveling from Gateway, a tour bus can hold closer to 40 people. We would match up the Gateway students with other students from around the country. So any adult traveling would have gone through the same background check process.
Are we going to have our solicitors look at this and review all of the details? When you say liability, you're going to look through every detail and you're going to let us know what your thoughts are on this. Okay.
I just have one more question. The clearances. So obviously the teacher's here and has her clearances. Would she have to go in addition through your process, or would they transfer from this school district to your or is there a different clearance for
She
international
would go
travel?
through, we work with a company called First Advantage, so she would submit through that company. Everyone submits through the same
Regardless on if, okay,
of any local
okay,
clearances. Yes.
thank you.
One of the questions I have, I did speak with the teacher. She had asked, to bring to Dr. Rossinak the usage of the LGI and also the gateway email. So does that hold, if we would use like the gateway email, would that hold gateway that we're participating? That's the thing. That, if it goes out through gateway email, does that show that we're supporting it, or, how does that work?
Ultimately, that's up to you all. So like I said, there are some districts who would permit the use of a school-based email system, but might also have parents sign something acknowledging that even though meetings might have been held on campus or emails might have been sent through the school portal, they understand that it is still a trip that is independent of the school.
So you can keep yourselves out of it by merely having them sign that form.
That's why I brought it up.
Is there any hidden costs to the district?
Nope. For the district, there's no cost, and for students, we offer single pricing. So there is a price that is provided when they enroll. We offer a number of different payment plans, so most travelers elect to go with our monthly payment plan to spread the cost out over time. Once they enroll, the price does not change. So there are no hidden, fuel costs, any kind of changes like that. It's all provided upfront. We also are happy to help support fundraising efforts. We have different ideas on fundraisers if that is something that's beneficial to the group to help generate funds.
There was something that was mentioned about scholarships for the students. Was there?
There are some early enrollment discount scholarships that can be available. I think there is something that is available now here probably until early November. And then the rest of it would just be through fundraising.
So you're already getting, if you say November, we're coming up on that really fast. So you're prepared for next summer already, so we would be like skipping a cycle to get into this, if that's the case.
Yes, so right now we have probably more than 50% of groups who will travel in 2025 signed up already. Some groups would start planning already for 2026. Some of them do it simultaneously. Some of them start to get students recruited for the first year and then begin for the next year.
Jay, is there a grade level requirement, like, is it, could be 9 through 12?
Yep, we don't have a grade limit requirement on our end.
You said June. Is there specific dates for this? Because it sounds like there's like you run, like a group tour, it's, group.
So June 4th is the date that they have requested. We asked for a small window of flexibility so that we can match up groups to fill up a bus. We confirm that information around 3 months before the group would leave on the tour to say this is the exact date if it's going to move.
Like, so what's, I don't have a kid in school anymore. It's the last day of school?
Is it 3rd? 3rd graduation.
And we can move that date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing has been done to plan for the trip yet, so if that's not the correct date, that can certainly be shifted. We know sometimes buffers for snow days, although they seem to be fewer and further between, but all of that we have flexibility with.
Mr. Dice, I don't know when you can scrutinize all of the details of this. Chelsea looked at it.
But we'll send that again.
Yeah, I'd like a little more in-depth information. I'd like you to scrutinize all of it, please. And then let us know.
And the original one was Greece, but now because of the time constraints, she's thinking about Costa Rica.
Yes, the original thought was Greece, but the concern was with a shorter runway for students to save money for the trip. That was a little bit more expensive. On Costa Rica trips, we have 3 meals a day included. On most European trips, it's only 2 meals a day, so it was really more all-inclusive at a lesser cost this year. And then she's hoping to start Greece for 2026.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Dr.
Dr. Rossi, have we ever had any international trips as a district, do you know?
I'm not aware of any in the recent history, say the last 10 years or so.
Anybody?
It's been about,
We've had them.
Language ones, they were the language ones that
when we had Latin in the
Spain.
district,
Okay.
the teacher would arrange trips to Rome and in Italy. And she did that for years. That was in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's been anything like that since then, but she had done it several different times.
Just wonder if we went through a
You know
company
what,
similar to
she's
this.
long been retired, there's no way of knowing, but they did go to Italy several different times.
And you never worked with us.
Not in the
That you know of.
recent past. I would have to look back. Sorry, I missed if you said when you.
It was early
2000s.
2000s, late 1990s, early 2000s, they were going, she was taking them over to Italy.
Have to look. I know there wasn't anything.
Recently.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you again. All right. Board member discussion items. I want to kind of keep it short so we're not here all night, but let's go ahead and get started.
All right, I'm just gonna bring up again, the issue on busing. I know we're doing everything we can, but apparently again, today buses were running early, kids were missing the buses. Is there a way that we can, I don't know what to even do, because they're saying the buses are coming early, the kids aren't out of the bus stop, the buses aren't coming back. They're leaving, and then it's up to the parents.
Well, and I think the other thing is the bus is usually 10 or 15 minutes late, but today it was 10 minutes early. So that 25-minute spread is a significant difference to have to.
If they're early, if they're supposed to be there at 8:45, why don't they just stay there? Find a place to
Well,
sit
that's
and
what
lay
I'm
and then be there at
asking.
8:45.
No, I think the thing is if the bus is supposed to be there 8:45, it's coming every day at 8:50, but today it came at 8:35.
So the
Right,
kids
so
weren't
at
out there.
8:35, find some place to sit until it's time to be at the bus stop at 8 at the right time, right?
And then now because if the buses are always running late, we're also asking people to sit there for 20 and 30 minutes every day to wait for the
Talking about
bus.
the bus driver sitting there. and-
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If I'm early, I'll go sit in the parking lot and have a coffee and then get there on time.
The kids wait.
Bus drivers should never ride early, so to speak.
There-
They
there-
can adjust.
There is that window.
Something you
10
can't
minutes
really
on
just
either
sit there.
side
Places to go.
Of the bus stop, but if it's early,
Church
I mean,
parking lot.
obviously, they should wait.
It was a big, I don't do the Facebook, but somehow this one popped up on mine. And, they were complaining that the kids have missed the bus. And, I asked the bus runners or someone to get into, but there's something that we need to do. I know we can't track the buses because of legality with some issues. As far as the parents. But, we need to be able to notify them, or like you said, if the buses are early, have them stay there.
We'll follow up. Again, we went down today to talk. We'll follow up. If we have the specific number, I'm sure they do. We'll find out.
We can check where our Uber's at and where our food is, when our food will be delivered, but we
Yeah.
can't check to see when our kids' bus, a public school bus.
But you know why they can't.
Putin, it's Putin, right?
I said nothing. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm just saying.
I'm not gonna say anything. All right, next.
I just had a quick thing. So I know you guys all got the invitation from Caitlin Tracy from the Band Boosters. So this Saturday is the championships for PIMBA, which is the local competition. Was in that email. Gateway is performing at 6:15 on Saturday. The event does start at 4 and awards are about 8:30. So if you did get the email, she was offering you all a ticket. But it's not, if you want to hear the bands, you can't actually go in the press box for this one. You'll have to sit in the stands because there will be judges in the press box, so you won't be able to be in the press box.
I just have a question, Maiko, you're on there, Maiko?
Yeah, I'm here.
Somebody asked me this question, I have absolutely no clue how to answer it. When somebody goes online, forget when you're looking for somebody, I guess some districts, they put like Mrs. Smith, second grade teacher Ramsey, underneath their name. We don't do that. And the question was asked of me, how come? Because sometimes you know who you're looking for, and sometimes you actually don't. And if you knew that this is a teacher of second grade, or this is, Tara, or somebody, she's looking at me, and why do we not do that? So I can answer that question. Is there a reason why?
There is no specific reason why, other than there are some people with a number of titles that it gets difficult sometimes when there's several. But just to double check, you are referring to the website, correct?
Yes, you have all the teachers listed and all the staff listed.
So I can interject here and let you know, Jeremy Tepper, our new communications gentleman, we have discussed this because we always joke about how the HR department has all these people listed and it has no title, so everyone's trying to shoot from the hip, wondering who they need to contact for what.
Right.
So he has taken on the responsibility of being able to update this for the district over the next few weeks here. So
they are gonna
hang
fix it.
tight.
Eventually.
We're gonna pull the data for him from the district's HRIS and then provide him with it so that he can make that update.
He's gonna do
But
that.
he's still learning our website, so he said, don't hold your breath, but I have it on my list, so.
Okay, everybody hear that out there? They're gonna fix it. Speaking of that, did y'all get this today?
No.
You didn't get this yet? We're in there.
Because the people.
It is the Monroeville in Community Magazine. We're in there. And we're in there in a couple pages. And so if y'all get it, take a look and see. Gateway High School Teacher Academy course molds future educators. It's one of the, so we are finally getting programs and PR out there, so that's good.
Paid for it, yeah. You better be in there.
Well, we better have people look at it tonight. So now they all know it's coming, if they haven't gotten it already. And that goes to Pitcairn too?
Yes.
We added that to Pitcairn, because poor Pitcairn sometimes gets slighted.
All right.
One other question.
I just got it
We're
today.
starting, Coach Hall, you're on. We're starting playoffs with some of our athletic teams. And tonight the girls volleyball is playing, and it's only being broadcast on NFHS, correct? Coach Hall? Maybe Miko?
Yes, for the games that are played in the stadium, we are obligated to stream only to NSHS.
Okay, that requires a subscription, correct?
Sorry about that. I was having trouble unmuting, as always. Tonight's volleyball match, which I would encourage you to come on over after the meeting and check it out. It starts at 7. It's the pigtail round where the 16 seed playing the 17 seed to continue on to the next round here in the Sports Complex gym. It is being streamed via Adam Gusky's crew, although they are working for NFHS and Triple Out Media tonight. So that match will be on there. The other next game is tomorrow night, boys soccer at Candy McMillan. I believe that will also be on the Triple Live Network, but I'll double check that, and we'll have something on the athletic website.
Okay.
So Valerie, are you proposing that it be broadcast in another
Well,
additional?
Well, we're looking at, we partnered with NFHS several years ago, and we've,
It's tough.
yeah, it is tough. Yes. So we're looking at different ways, because we don't necessarily like that fee, a subscription fee. So we're looking at different things. There's other products out there that are less expensive. Huddle, Gusky does a good job, really good job production. So we're looking at that for next.
So we pay this production company and they didn't throw in a subscription with our paid production?
For viewers.
NFHS, they initially, when we first started, correct me if I'm wrong, it was free. But then, as the years progressed, there became a charge for it. So,
And
It
this
depended.
production crew that we pay, Gateway Gator Productions, is not NFHS.
correct.
They sometimes stream for NFHS, but they are not. They would not have the wherewithal to remove any, NFHS payments that would require.
When we purchased the Pixelot, well, we actually got the Pixelot free through the NFHS subscription. So as part of that deal, we would stream exclusively with NFHS in order to recoup the cost of the Pixel. which is the automated camera in the stadium.
Gotcha. Thank you, both of you. So in other words, when we leave here, just go up to the sports complex
Absolutely. Go Gators.
and watch it. Go Gators. Can I just, one other thing I want to bring up too, sorry about this board discussion. I had talked to Dr. Rossi about it. The tech department had brought up to me, along with our equipment manager, we have students that transfer that do not return technology equipment or athletic uniforms, and we had gone through, I believe, Dyson Associates, but nothing against you, but what you charged was more, yes, but was more than really what our equipment was amounting to. So we have quite a bit of missing things that, we need to really capture back. Is there a way that somehow, I know we can't hold grades, we can't hold diplomas, is there something we can do, because it's costing the district every time this happens?
Every year.
Yeah. Micah, about how many technology items would you say?
It's hard to say over a period of time, but given that we have constantly students leaving the district, there is a good percentage of those where we don't recover the hardware before they leave. So it's just an ongoing thing. It's not something that just happens.
And what's the cost to us, roughly?
For a Chromebook, it's about $250. For an iPad, it's closer to about $400 with the case and everything.
So far this year, do you have a rough idea, a number, or last year?
Off the top of my head, I do not. It is probably around $10,000, but I can try and narrow down that cost a little more.
Mike, we can get that for the weekly update, and then we talked about a third party. We could add that information as well.
And I'm just saying with the athletic equipment too, when you're talking uniforms, that's all taken into consideration. So just an added cost.
So when you're,
For collection.
Yeah.
when you're saying a third party, oh, that's what it is, collection agency or whatever. Okay, that was my question when you said third party. Okay.
Thanks, that's it.
Anyone else? All right, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Ross.
Item 4, Mike? Thanks, Dr. Rossi. Item 4.1, list of bills, October 2024.
Okay, thank you, Mike. We do have items previously tabled. We can keep that tabled until next week if you like.
Yeah, we'll keep it tabled because it's going to be Costa Rica now.
So that needs to be changed.
And the waiver, she'll
Yep.
send you the waiver
Waiver,
and the
yeah,
updated.
she'll All right, and then we have an action item, Ms. Jessel, personnel.
Thank you, Dr. Rossi. We have item 6.1, resolution 1021 of 2024 as listed for approval by the board.
All right, so we need a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All right,
Do you need
any
it?
discussion? Any questions? All right, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Mrs. Burns?
Aye.
Mrs. Delaney?
Aye.
Mrs. McBride?
Aye.
Ms. Mungo?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Dr. Singh?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mrs. Woods?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next section.
Item 7.1, 2 resignations as listed. Item 7.2, employment of 1 teacher. 7.3, 1 sabbatical leave as listed. Item 7.4, the board to recognize the tenure status of the 8 individuals as listed per PA school code. Item 7.5, the salary adjustment per the CBA for the individual as listed. Item 7.6, various issuance of supplementals as listed. 7.7, the approval of 2 event workers. And item 7.8, approval of 12 volunteers as listed.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Sorry about that. So we're approving supplementals for our winter sports. When do we send out for the spring sports?
Historically speaking, I believe that it's been sent out December, January, but I believe we will be looking to November, be sending them out because of the board meeting being December 2nd.
And I thought we had someone for, did we not, I know we discussed the Gateway Middle School yearbook advisor. I see is to be determined.
Yeah, we didn't have anybody.
Oh, I thought there was someone that
But
was
Mr.
interested.
Jack said he knew of a few people that
Okay.
would be interested. I didn't ask for names at that time,
Okay.
so we asked for it to be posted, approved and posted so that they could get that going.
Okay.
So
And
these-
this diving coach?
The positions that's listed that have TBD, the diving coach and yearbook advisor, are both out for bidding at this time.
yeah.
The bidding window closes this week in between the two meetings, so we
Okay.
will have those positions filled on the next agenda,
Okay, all right, thank you.
hopefully.
I do want to bring up, you did say in board docs, we were looking like at a baked cooking class.
Yes.
Did we get the sample? I mean, the rest of the board can sample the stuff. Okay.
All right. So, right.
Yep, Dr. Shaky?
Thank you, Dr. Rossi. Item 8.1, approve the policies for approval as listed. Item 8.2, approve policy 338, sabbatical leave for display. Item 8.3, approve the conferences as listed. Item 8.4, approve the MOU between Allegheny County Department of Human Services and Gateway School District. Item 8.5, approve the revised agreement with Gateway School District Police. Item 8.6, approve the Forbes Road Health Service collaboration. Item 8.7, approve the foreign exchange student for second semester at Gateway High School.
Any questions? Okay.
Mike?
Thanks, Dr. Rossi.
Excuse me. So what is the road health service collaboration? That's 8.6.
8.6.
Collaboration.
Health Service Collaboration. That's an MOU with Forbes Road Technical School for their nurse to be able to talk with our nurse.
Thank you.
With our students' information. Mike?
Thanks, Dr. Rossi. Item 9.1, approve the district donations received for the 24-25 school year. 9.11, Freddie Jones, owner of Jones Gym, backpacks and school supplies for CSE students. Item 9.1.2, Allegheny County Courts collected $863 for the backpack program to benefit students district-wide. Item 9.2, approve the request to bid the elevator project at University Park Elementary. Item 9.3, approve the agreement with DQ Communications and Gateway School District for the 24-25 school year. Item 9.4, approve the agreement for cybersecurity professional development and cybersecurity services with the Valander Group. Item 9.5, approve the settlement MOU with AHM Forbes Hospital, Monroeville, PA, parcel number 857H-33. Item 9.6, approve the purchase of a Kubota 32.5 horsepower tractor with a 52-inch broom and a 72-inch motor deck at a cost of $44,279 through Sourcewell Contracts. Item 9.7, approve the reimbursement resolution intent to finance completion of Gateway Middle School and various capital improvement projects to other school district buildings.
That's a nice tractor there in 9.6. Wow.
We currently own one. I don't know if you've ever seen them cutting a bank going out to 48 that goes up that bank. Yeah, it is a nice machine.
What happened to the one we have that goes up the bank?
It's staying here. This is for Gateway Middle. They can cut the grass over there, and the broom actually sweeps the sidewalk. It does a nice job. It's a nice machine.
Beautiful.
So there will be training on that, correct? Do they have to wear a helmet?
They do, but it's when, if they would come off the seat, it shuts off.
Oh, it does, that's a safety.
Yeah.
So let me ask, if we have someone who does our landscaping, why do we? I'm confused.
Because they don't show up half the time, remember?
We're redoing the grass proposal for the bids, and we're discussing that too.
Okay.
Yeah, about the
We can do
the
it,
price.
and why do we
Believe
need
me,
to?
some of the prices we got, I'd retire and cut grass here, but we're sending out another RFP, it'll be in the paper this weekend for grass, and we're gonna revisit that. What the proposals we received and what we're paying.
Okay.
It's a big gap.
Okay.
So does
All right.
that mean we're going to revisit that and not worry about this, or
No,
we're
we
still
need
gonna
to,
worry about
we
that?
need to purchase for Gateway Middle School. There is a need for it to cut grass and clear the sidewalks as soon as possible. Instead of, right now, we truck the one from here over.
Yeah.
So,
I think one of the problems from what I understand in the meetings, that hillside over at Gateway Middle, that's treacherous.
yeah.
And I think there are some concerns that some people didn't want to have to deal with that as part of cutting the grass for us, because it is treacherous. When you sit there long enough and look at the hillside, I wouldn't want to have to cut it. But I think that's part of the intent of
Right.
getting this.
So they'll cut the grass minus the hillside.
Well, that's what we'll have to see.
So we're responsible for that sidewalk all the way to kinder care, I believe.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Take care of that.
That's the other thing too.
Jungle there, that's a lot of overhang on that path.
Well, that's been a topic of conversation for bus drivers trying to pull out of there so they can see down there. It has to be addressed too.
Is that in the budget?
Yes. In the capital project. We'll probably have to do a we'll have to do a budget transfer from other items that's in the capital improvement. Because there's other projects in there we're not going to do this year.
Okay. And
I
then,
was concerned we were going to pay for someone to cut the grass.
No.
No.
okay, and then Micah, the cybersecurity, was that already included in your budget, or is that something new?
It's included in pieces of other things in my budget. So
Okay.
we used to purchase specific training services that will now get rolled into the penetration testing and the third-party audit services that he offers.
Okay, thank you.
With the request for bid for the elevator, when do they anticipate that being completed?
Yeah, that's a summer project.
Summer.
Yeah, that's what he indicated. It would make too much noise and be too confusing to do it anytime other when the kids aren't in the building.
Is that in the 24-25 budget, or is that going to be added to the 25-26 budget?
It's in this year's budget, in the capital improvement project.
The 24-25?
Yes.
Mike, do you want to talk a little bit about 9.7?
Sure. Dr. Rossi and myself met with our bond counsel, and just to review our current finances, the current existing bonds we have. This, and they suggested to us to do this resolution. It's just, we're not doing a bond, we're not doing anything. It's just that we have to file this paperwork with PDE, because right now we depleted all the funds from the bonding for the middle school project. We're transferring money from the general fund to the construction fund. If PDA were to come back with plan call reimbursement, we will be able to capture that money by doing this intent. And it also, it kind of piggybacks to Constellation Energy. We just going on board with them, but if we would have to take a bond out with them, with the savings initiative, we will be able to deduct that. If the state would ever reinstitute plan con, we will get a percentage of each project back.
Is that possible? Are they going to go down that road?
The state sometimes could come out right now and say, hey, we're going back 3 years, we're going back 2 years. This is just to protect us, because if we transfer money from general fund and don't do this piece, we will not be eligible for plan call money that's coming from the general fund to pay for that project. So it's just to kind of protect us.
Makes sense. I have a question about Forbes on here. Did we find out, I've heard rumors that there is going to be, besides parking lot over in that area where they're leveling, remember when we were talking about this? This is one of the office buildings we're
Right.
discussing. But they also took that, and they're leveling it, and they're putting parking lots, but I understand there's going to be a building there too. Have we heard anything more pursuing?
I can reach out to them.
Can you-
Morobo's been on top of this the whole time.
Yeah, find
so-
out, because that's the
Okay.
new word on the street, and if that's true, if it's a building, what kind of building are we talking about?
Right. That'll determine if it's tax eligible.
Right, exactly.
And I just want to say thank you to Mr. Lassie for the little blurb that he put on the back of the program for the concert that they had last week. The great concert. It's seeing all these schools together was just, it's remarkable what they do. So thank you.
That choir that we got a donation from.
All right, so board member resolutions, we have none. Comments from residents on non-agenda items. Any comments? All right, so reports, administrative reports.
All right, we have our administrative team here today, so I'm just going to kind of turn it over to them. I'll start with Dr. Chakey.
All right, we wanted to recognize Gateway High School student Abigail Wisner, who we had an opportunity to meet with today. And she received the first place essay painting of Mahatma Gandhi. And it's hard to believe, but in talking with her today, she's actually gotten better, she said, at some of these paintings since she did this one. So she started out just doing some murals of family members and then kind of progressed into what she's doing now today, which is incredible. So congratulations to her.
And then this one is just part of our PBIS, and we had some conference, teachers going on a conference PBIS, so it's one of our initiatives this year. This is just Rapper Frizzy. This was an article on the trip. It's kicking off our bullying prevention program. This one happens to be at University Park.
That was University Park.
That was University Park, yeah.
You know what's cool about that? The kids who sang over when you watched the video, they got to go record in his studio. So that was pretty cool. They got him an opportunity to see how that works.
Ms. McCrowell?
Yes, this is one of our finest psychologists here in the district. This is Monica Griffith. She was spotlighted by the Association of School Psychologists of Pennsylvania for her work in equity and leadership and just being a team player and a reflective practitioner. We're lucky to have her. And of course, Steve Reese, if you don't know him, he is Mr. Sunshine. Kids love him. He is a remarkable English as a second language teacher with a great attitude, making a difference, and it's just great to have him on our team.
So he was our staff spotlight.
Sorry,
He was our staff spotlight for the month. So.
Nice.
And then Dr. Three?
Yes, so Eradicating Global Summit returns to Pittsburgh, and we are happy to say that we have 10 students attending that one tomorrow. So we're very excited. This is our first time doing that. And this is a response to the Tree of Life Silicon tragedy.
I heard that on the news, they were talking about it. Yeah.
They want to touch it. Okay, do you have a question?
How you said there were 10 students?
Yes.
Will they spend all day there? Or-
Yes, we are going to leave here about 8:30 to be at the summit down at the David L. Morris Convention Center. The summit actually starts at 9:30, so we'll be with other schools, some returning schools. Again, we are new to the summit this year, and we are going to attend. And we'll be back about we're going to leave 1:30, and we'll be back at 2. Okay.
So you'll eat lunch
Yes,
there.
and everything is
It's a pretty big summit.
Yeah.
These are just all high school students. You don't have any middle school students,
No.
but it's just high school.
Do you remember who the guest speaker is? They had announced it on the news. I can't remember.
Several.
Yeah, I forgot who it was. I'll remember.
And how were the students selected to go?
10.
How were they selected?
Oh, students were selected to go. They signed up. So we did first come, first serve. we did a sign up and we did marketing around high school.
You want to
Something
touch,
that Black Student Union sponsored, and they put it out to everybody.
and then you want to hit on the Point Park experience as well?
Yes, and on last Thursday, something else that the Black Student Union sponsored, they were having, we had an opportunity to attend the historical Black college and university, the HBCU fair at PNC Park on Thursday. And so we took a busload of students, about 31 students attended that. And then after the HBCU fair at PNC, we actually went over to Point Park for another opportunity to engage with faculty from Point Park, and they, representatives from Dollar Bank were there. They were able to teach the students about financing and budgeting, and we took a tour of the campus, and we were able to hear from the provost and hear about just the college process. And what they shared with the students was that even if you weren't interested in Point Park, a lot of the information was valuable for your just post high school opportunities. So it was a really worthwhile event that we did on last Thursday. And students were able to sign up for that as well.
And just some parent resources we have.
Yeah, the digital citizenship resources, these are all posted on our website for parents to take a look at. Some pretty good topics, the guide to TikTok, teaching kids to protect their data, privacy online. So some of that's available to parents on our website.
This is all through Common Sense Education.
And also just a reminder, it is the school bus safety week. A couple reminders there that parents can reference right on the website.
This went out in the newsletter as well. Just a reminder. That's all we have.
Thank you.
All right, so board committee reports. I see we have, did you want to highlight anything?
Yeah, I am going to go, I gave you the actual agenda. We have a lot going on with buildings and grounds. You heard about the elevator and UP. I'm going to highlight 3 things. You can see all the things under each building as to what's been done, what's going to be done. We're going to start with this building. And we won't have an answer or a real game plan. I think, Dr. Russell, you're saying for Spectrum Charter until November. You're
Just met with them again.
You just met with them again. Spectrum Charter, as you all probably know, has expressed an interest in using space in this building. It's narrowed down to about 11 classrooms in the cafeteria and the gym. They were there, staff was there, they discussed their needs, and we, of course, Dr. Rossi had a number of questions for them, like they're going to use the cafeteria, who's going to provide you with the meals. So all those things, including like maintenance and all those things, have to be resolved. They would like, and I don't know how this is going to play out, and I don't think you know totally, they'd like to be here, they said spring, they wanted to start, so we'll have to see how this all goes. And because you contractually, we do know, because I think Mike got that, how much it was per square foot to rent it. So we have that figure, but there's other things that we have to incorporate in a contract with them that they're still negotiating.
Yes.
Right. Okay, the other thing, which is a biggie, this came up, the Guaranteed Energy Savings Program. This was brought to our attention a while ago. I think, Jack, you had mentioned it to us and gave us that lead. Well, they're following through. And one of the things I thought was great is they can do energy saving. They can handle our energy program and needs. But what they're doing is there's a kickoff meeting. You had it on Thursday, last Thursday. And they will be starting going through our buildings on October the 14th. And they're going to look at, so if I understand this correctly, they're going to do an analysis of our buildings, which will not cost us anything to have done.
Right.
That in and of itself is worth it because they're going to look at the building equipment, the roofs, the windows, and the lighting, and give us a handle where we're at with all of those needs. So if nothing else, that in itself of itself, and then we go from there and make a judgment about what can they do for us in the way of our energy savings, and we will work through that. And so this is a thing in progress, but I was excited. Anytime you get anything for free that somebody's going to look at your buildings, you jump on it, right? So anyway, and you can look at the rest of them there. The other thing, I wanted to talk about, we have to look at facility rentals. And that's something that we're gonna have a really in-depth conversation about, because our facilities were built for our students in our communities, Monroeville and Pitcairn. And we do have a lot of people coming in, and we've got to do an analysis of what we're charging them for, how many times they're using the building, these outside entities, and what's it costing us. Because sometimes the use of the fields, they're getting overused, and then who's going to subsidize the improvements? Us? And how does that impact our students, since they're not the ones that are constantly using it? Like our baseball fields is a prime example. So we really need to do an analysis of that and figure out, is it worth it to us, bottom line, to rent out facilities like that to outside entities? Are we making money, or is this costing us money? And we really need to look at that whole figure and make those judgments. So that's going to be pursued too, but that's a little bit of a process, because we got to go back and look at who's been renting them. So those were 3 things. The rest of them you can look at. I did add the one, we do need to do the scoping of the University Park, and we need a camera down there, because pretty sure that the pipes down there are cracked. Sometimes you can put that liner in, but I'm being told that may not be the case here, and it may be cracked, and that's going to be huge. But you got to have a camera to get down and look and see what's going on down there. And also, Jack, I did give that EADS engineering group who's done work in Pitcairn, I passed it on to John. He's going to look into them. Apparently, they've done work in Pitcairn. They are involved with grants, which is excellent.
Done work for Gateway too.
Have they done it? I looked up some of the stuff they did, and the first one that came up was the, when you go to Ligonier, where the gazebo is in the middle of the town, they redesigned all that stuff. So it is passed on. He acknowledged, John said he would be looking into it, so he'll get back to us.
By the way, just to be clear, I was talking about any engineering group, but Eads happens to be one I'm familiar with. And in addition to engineering, their skill seems to be in finding funding.
Right.
So we have in Pitcairn, $1 million project to do a bridge, and they have found 3/4 of that.
Nice.
A variety of sources. So, and they've done that over the years. So they're very good at it. And they've done a couple engineering projects for us too, including, I think that, there's a wall at the corner of the high school that someone had built that was like the kind of block you use in your house.
Yeah.
And it crumbled, so they were involved in
Well,
helping with that.
I just went through their website, and they have a lot of projects. The first one, like I said, was Ligonier. You can look at it, but as a reference, he's going to look at it and see what they can do for us, because you did say about the grants, and obviously.
By the way, you did ask about, and I see it on here, the courtyards. I did talk to the folks at Ford. Apparently, this was brought up once before, and it seemed to be a question from the union as to who having these folks come in or not. So,
but if we have students,
I'm just passing this on. I'm sure that it's not insurmountable, but we had asked Forbes in the past, and it didn't go further. There was some resistance.
I think there was also a conversation about it depends on the courtyard. The one, there is cement issues. We've addressed that. And it can be patched in temporarily. We discussed that too. And other ones, it's a matter of weeding the thing. It's just sloppy and it's overgrown.
I agree.
And is that a project our kids can actually do? You know, it's like a little school community service. We discussed that. They did do it. They started it, good.
And we,
Not Forbes yet, our students, yeah.
and we talked about summer work for students,
Right.
something that could be kept up over the summer.
The only issue is how we're going to fix the cement in that one, because it's a little treacherous and it's not even. And then do we just it's one of those deals. You just patch it and pray it's going to last a few years, or do you fix it? Because fixing it's going to cost more money to do it right and rip it all out. So that's a conversation we'll continue to have.
Mr. Wheeler has a couple kids that are very interested in it, one student in particular, so he's been talking with her, trying to get ideas. We talked to Forbes. they're more than willing to help as well. So we have some things in place.
Well, if there's a hurdle with having the forms come over, but that again, are students
Yeah, we'll work through
versus
that.
professional people coming in and doing it, so.
Cheryl, I had a conversation with Mr. Jack about the courtyard at the middle school, about maybe having the students design what they would like that space to look like for future students, with the understanding that it might not be able to happen this year. And then because of the wait for the 8th grade, have the 8th graders kind of do like a competition to make that space and then come back and see if it was able to be developed and maybe make a plaque with their names.
I mean, that's always possible, but I always like to give you this list.
No, it was just a conversation, like we're talking about all these different spaces that are like not utilized, and that was one that would be, that the students would have the opportunity to design it on what they, would think, and then, this would be something that we would then come to building and grounds.
We obviously could talk about that, talking about courtyards and stuff. What was fascinating was the explanation about the dance studio at the high school and how they're going to have to put stuff in there, and that whole thing was like way more complicated than I thought it was going to be to get that shored up and get that fixed. But it's like anything at your house. You think it's going to take 2 weeks and it takes 4 months. So some of these projects are like that. So I understand what you're saying, but yeah, I mean, that's something we can put on our wish list.
Thanks.
That's a whole list of
Yeah,
things.
thank you for the details.
Yeah,
Everything that's needed.
where we have to deal with.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And the next meeting is January the 15th at 6 in this room.
Okay. All right, thank you, Cheryl.
Next report.
I just have a question for Mr. Bova. Do you know when they will be dedicating the schoolhouse?
No, I don't actually. When you say dedicating, which part of the,
I guess.
what are you talking about?
Well, I'll tell you the story. Tom Wilson, a former board member, had asked me, there was a plaque up in the PA room. And it was from the first school, it was in Pitcairn.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Estoff funded it. And he wanted us, if we could, as a school district, give it to them for the dedication, but then there would be contingencies if anything would happen, that we would get it back.
That sounds like a lovely idea.
Yes, and if the building, if it's no longer utilized for whatever they were using that plaque for, so that it stayed in the gateway
That's a great idea.
community, if they sold the building or whatever. Give them like a 100-year lease on the plaque with that,
So that's why I was just wondering if you knew.
Yeah, there was a kickoff event a couple of weeks ago, as you know, because as always, you won baskets and such. It was great, you were there, appreciate it. So, yeah, the next phase, I can't remember what the next public phase is. And there, because of the various entities involved, they didn't want to talk too much about what's going to happen next. But I will pass that on. I think we have a meeting tomorrow, actually.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I need to get a picture of that.
No.
Get a picture of that and send it to me. Thanks.
go upstairs, take a look at it.
Susan, you have a committee report?
I don't have a report for our committee for the curriculum and equity, but we will have a meeting coming up in November. First in this room, 6, which I've already kind of sent out so that at least some people know about that. And just also, October is the month that I've noticed, even from the slides you were showing, that this is National Bullying Prevention Month, which I thought was really good and very beneficial with that slide. Of course, it's Breast Cancer Month as well, and many of us, I'm sure, know someone that we appreciate as having been a survivor or as a survivor. And one thing that was interesting, we did the walkthrough at the Gateway Middle School. I was glad to be there for that because I hadn't been there since the kids were actually functioning in the building, and the wonderful thing about the classrooms, and I thought it was a setup, but we saw no cell phones in the room we went in, which was really, yeah, that was great. The kids were very engaged in the rooms that we did go to. And like Val said, we appreciated, I went to the Allegheny County Choir program that they had up at the high school last week, and it was amazing to bring all, I don't know how many schools together. How many schools were there?
A lot.
20, was it 20 something?
There were more than that. There were a lot.
I thought
It was a lot, but I just thought it was an amazing program when you have that cohesive and bring all of these various groups together. That's all I got.
All right. Val, do you have anything?
No, I just saw online that a good friend had passed away, Betsy Desmond. So,
That's it.
that's it.
It's
Leslie, do you have anything?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm part of the negotiations, we discussed that. That was all executive session.
No, thank you.
Donna?
No.
Dr. Singh?
So there is a new poetry collection coming out from Pittsburgh Speaks title, and it will be like due date is coming out is January, and I can pass the information. I think the book is for $19, and if you pre-order, then it is $12. And I'll send out some information. Pittsburgh Speaks.
Thank you. John?
Nothing?
All right. I have nothing, so. Motion. Second. All in favor? Motion adjourned.